Hello and welcome to our The Spirit of Slovenian Mobility event. This would be a series of 5 events, and the first topic today will be the best of urban air mobility. So my name is Daniel Avdagic and I'm the CEO of AV Living Lab, and AV Living Lab is basically the urban mobility test bed. So why we decided to organize 5 events? The thing that what we will show is the 2 trends. One trend is that population in cities and in urban area is growing. So in 50s, we had only 2 cities, considered as a mega cities, which were Tokyo and New York. And today we see a growth. So the first trend talks that we need to manage better the space, the infrastructure, the services in cities. And second trend is the trend of the rise of megacities. Now, in this trend, we see that more and more cities will be about 10 millions. And the question is how to organize our life and transport of goods and people around. So therefore, we believe that urban air mobility will play an important role by using the third dimension. And for that purpose, we organized the presentation of Slovenian ecosystem of urban air mobility players. So in today's presentation, you will see a short keynotes and then roundtables from 3 companies working with unmanned aerial system, one providing services, trainings, and education, and one providing the urban air mobility simulators. And why we selected to invite them is basically because we believe that first missions and applications in megacities will not be passenger operations yet, but more like cargo deliveries, air medical, surveillance, law enforcement, and so on. So it's time to start. Now I will give the word to our organizer, the organization Spirit Slovenia, and to Mr. Peljhan, who is the head of foreign direct investment as promotion department. So Mr. Vit, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Daniel. Dear ladies, dear gentlemen, good day to all of you. I'm honored to welcome you on the first in a series of 5 mobility events, the Spirit of Slovenian Mobility, where we'll introduce the most innovative Slovenian mobility startups and companies. The objective of the events is to introduce this new Slovenian mobility ecosystem, enable networking, and to open new opportunities for partnerships and investments. Mobility has always been, and still is, one of the most important businesses in Slovenia. There are more than 100 Tier 1 and Tier 2 suppliers and more than 600 sub-suppliers, which are generating more than 70% of Slovenian GDP. Mobility industry creates more than 20% of our export, and 25% of all awarded innovations in Slovenia comes from mobility sector. Today, we'll focus on air mobility. And in the next 4 events, we will also meet best solutions in high-end mobility, micro-mobility, mobility as a service, and logistics. You may ask yourself, what has Slovenia, as such a small country, to show and bring to the world in future mobility? I'm sure that quite a lot, and we'll try to show you that during all these events which will be organized and presented. Slovenia ranks 6th in the world in the number of hidden champions per million inhabitants. So we can say that we are a kind of country of hidden champions. We are great, especially in new and niche markets. How is this possible? Because almost 50% of our young people are studying and researching at our globally recognized and universities, and more than 41% of all students graduated in science and engineering. We have the most AI researchers per capita in European Union, and also UNESCO's AI Center is in Slovenia. We have always been among the first to adopt new mobility technologies. The first airplane on the Slovenian soil was constructed just 6 years after Wright brothers. And Slovenian airplane, Pipistrel Velis Electro, is the first EASA certified electric airplane. As an economy, we are focusing on green technologies with creative talent of our workforce delivering smart solutions. I hope that situation in the world will allow us to welcome you in Slovenia soon, and that you will also get to know us not only as a great tourist destination, but also as an innovative and highly developed country. You're also welcome to meet us at our pavilion in this year's Expo Dubai. But until then, let's hear breakthrough solutions from few of our companies and their vision of future in urban air mobility. Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Fabian, for your kind words. And now let's start with our, presentation of urban air mobility. And before I give the word to our speakers, just quick facts about, Slovenian role in mobility and in aerospace. So I don't know how familiar you are, but in Slovenia, 5,200 years ago was found the oldest wheel with axle, and which was proved that mobility has quite a long roots. But this is not the only thing that we are very proud on. What Mr. Fabian already said is that, which we will see, is that our airspace engineer, Edward Rusian, did a first successful takeoff with biplane in 1909. Then, 20 years later, our Slovenian aerospace engineer, Herman Potočnik, did the first design of space station, where he was in 80 drawings proposed how the propulsion should be achieved to do the takeoff, then how the solar collection would be collected in the space, how the waste and the water recycling, how the oxygen would be provided. So quite amazing. But also, if we do fast forward to today's time, we have a very active University of Ljubljana in aerospace field. And there is in US is each year so-called a university championship for radio-controlled aircraft, which is called Design, Build, Fly. And so from 2014, 2019, Slovenia was always top 5 among more than 100 universities. So yes, we have a talent and we have a skills. So now I would like really to invite our first speaker. He is coming from the company KOLEKTOR Digital. His name is Mr. Marko Thaler, who is the CTO of KOLEKTOR Digital and the CEO of AIRNAMICS. So Marko, please share with us your presentation.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for having me today. In the next 8 minutes or so, I would like to give you a short overview of development approaches, technologies, and tools that enable us to redefine what is possible in the field of autonomous robotic systems in general and unmanned aircraft systems in particular. But before we dive into the presentation, just a short overview. KOLEKTOR Digital is one of 4 strategic business units of KOLEKTOR Group, a multinational conglomerate with 35 companies and more than 5,000 employees in America, Europe, and Asia, but with headquarters in Slovenia. In digital, we develop breakthrough products and services, predominantly for the global industry 4.0 market. And we have more than 70 internationally recognized experts in the field of artificial intelligence, autonomous robotics, simulation technologies, automated vision, and digital platforms. The AIRNAMICS company is an R&D powerhouse inside digital, specializing in aerial and ground-based autonomous robotic systems. And we cover the complete development cycle from conceptual design to serial production. Our reference projects include vertical takeoff and landing and multi-rotor unmanned aircraft systems, autonomous mobile robots, and intelligent robotic workers. But in addition to all the in-house mechanical and electrical engineering of our products, we center our development around proprietary AIRNAMICS development platform. ADP is a set of development technologies and tools that enable us to develop complex autonomous robots up to an order of magnitude faster than with traditional development methods. And the ADP includes custom model-based design simulation tools for high-fidelity simulation and optimization of complex robotic systems and their control algorithms, custom engineered electronics and embedded computers, such as autopilots, AI-based robot controllers, motor controllers, battery management systems, a proprietary real-time operating system, and performance-optimized firmware specifically for our embedded computers. Also, a library of complex control algorithms, navigation and motion control systems. And in addition to development of specific robots, we also provide all the necessary infrastructure for remote monitoring, anomaly detection, and remote control of those robots. But also, last but not least, a lot of our robot development is based on the use of artificial intelligence, which enables us to continuously improve our robot performance over time and also take advantage of so-called network-based learning approach. And this approach enables the robot to learn from experience and share those learnings across all the robots in the network. And basically the end result of this is that this enables an exponential growth of knowledge inside the robotic network. And we have the complete AI development pipeline and data management system that supports that. You know, model-based design on one hand and deeply integrated custom electronics on the other redefine what is possible in terms of speed and quality of development. The main idea is we simulate all system aspects, its environment, and the interaction between the system and its environment. And we design and optimize system control algorithms based on executed simulations. And then when we are satisfied with the performance of those algorithms, we transfer them with a single click to our embedded electronics in the real-life prototype. We then operate and test the system in the real world. And there are two very important advantages the AIRNAMICS development platform brings us. You know, the first is that during system operation, we can observe any system variable and analyze system performance in real time. But the second, even maybe more important, is that after we land the system, we transfer all the collected operating data back to our simulation environment. And based on that data, we can increase the accuracy and fidelity of the simulation model. With this approach, we have basically, just closed the simulation loop. What that means is the more we fly, the more data we gather, the better the simulation model, and the less we need to fly. So the end result is an extremely short and efficient development cycle that is up to an order of magnitude shorter than with conventional development methods. And also we can go from simulation to full-scale prototype in a single step, because usually the simulation environment is accurate enough out of the box. And let's take a look at an example of AIRNAMICS development platform in action. This was a fun little project of pushing the flight dynamics envelope to its limits by creating a hybrid between a fixed-wing aircraft and a multi-rotor helicopter. In terms of flight dynamics, we were combining the lift generated by vertical thrust propellers with the lift generated by the wing. And the end result completely redefines flight dynamic capabilities of the system. And with the use of AIRNAMICS development platform, we were able to go from initial idea to flying prototype you see here in approximately 2 weeks' time. And this really showcases the power of ADP for prototype development. By the way, if you want to enjoy some more fun with this aircraft, you can also find the video on YouTube. I believe it's very important to acknowledge that the aircraft alone is a lot of times only a container for data acquisition sensors and edge computing. In reality, the majority of actual added value is generated in accompanying software. And some examples of where value generation happens are defined on the slide. However, I would like to touch on the last two, namely shadow mode testing and network-based learning, that can generate a disproportionate amount of added value. And how are we able to accomplish that? Well, the first step is to detect anomalies or suboptimal conditions in system operation, usually based on digital twins. We then analyze the anomalies or suboptimal conditions and simulate them in the digital twin to develop new high-performing versions of desired control algorithms. After that, we perform over-the-air updates and test those development candidate versions in shadow mode on actual robots that operate in real life. Shadow mode is basically a parallel testing mode where a control algorithm development candidate is running in parallel to the primary control algorithm. And both use actual sensor data in real time. The only difference is that the development candidate outputs are not controlling the actual robot, while the primary control algorithm outputs are. And by comparing the two output sets, we can assess the development candidate robustness and performance in real-life testing without any negative effects. And this increases the system performance even further in comparison with digital twin-only development. The last step, of course, then is to analyze and validate system performance of individual development candidates and select the one that performed the best. We then deploy the selected solution version to live operation across the whole network. And with it, we continuously repeat the learning cycle over all the robots in the network and distribute the learnings from a single robot to the whole network. And this approach that we call network-based learning can completely transform the rate of progress over time and over the number of systems in the network. So I hope I was able to provide you with some insights into what is possible to do in the field of autonomous robotic systems in general and unmanned aircraft systems in particular. And in today's presentation, my intention was to showcase the technology and know-how we have in Slovenia in the field of advanced autonomous robotic systems, and maybe, to spark an idea or two about pushing the state of the art in this field. So if you have any specific questions or ideas you would like to discuss with us, well, please just let us know. With that, it was a pleasure and an honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marko, for these insights. And of course, there will be opportunity to interact with you later on in the roundtable. So the next one is Marko Peljhan, coming from the company C-ASTRAL. And Marko Peljhan is the co-founder and chief strategy officer at C-ASTRAL. So Marko, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much. And thank you to my other Marko for starting this event today. So I will talk a little bit about C-ASTRAL, our company. And as you could see, even from the previous presentation, this Slovenian ecology is very much an ecology, an ecosystem. And the interesting thing is that, literally almost all of the panelists and presenters today have in one way or the other already collaborated, or we are collaborating in different projects at the moment. So that's something to be said, of course, about our general environment here. So a little bit about C-ASTRAL. Who are we? We are a company. We're based in Ajdovščina in Slovenia, same town as Pipistrel, and just a few nautical miles away from the test field where Edvard Rusjan tested his aircraft in the beginning of the 20th century. And so aerospace has always been part of kind of the cultural background here where we are now. And it's not a strange thing, probably, that two of the companies that are focused on manufacturing systems, Pipistrel and ourselves, are based here somehow in a very small town that is kind of not comparable to anything else that we know of in Europe, right? I mean, this is a place with 6,000 inhabitants. Anyway, so which of course has its own problems, as you can imagine. We are a company that started from a research background back in 1999, the first unmanned research systems, and we were also responsible for the first unmanned autonomous flight in Slovenia, which happened in 2005. And then we started the company in 2007. And for now, we are one of the market leaders. It's a crowded field, definitely, in the fixed wing field globally. So, and from 2019, we are also a member of a Japanese consortium called TerraDrone Group. So that's one of our partners now in the company. It's also, we have a little bit of Japanese genome in the company. This is our timeline, as I mentioned, 99 to 2005. It was really a kind of a research moment. Then the company started 2007. We did a lot of our beginning research in the Arctic and Antarctica, 2007, 2009, 2010, and when we started also our first sales of our first unmanned system, which is called the Bramor. Currently, we have three main product lines. One is Bramor, the other is Atlas, Advanced Technology Light Acquisition System, which is a smaller system, and also VTOL for inspections of inside robotic inspections for gas tanks and things like that. And we are also developing other systems, of course, always. There's a lot of R&D in the company constantly, and our systems have flown for now cumulative more than 130,000 hours globally, and we are selling nowadays in 70 countries. So that's I think 71. So we just last year we were a little bit below 70. Now we are a little bit above 70. Our focus has always been long duration flights. We kind of bet on the early development of that market, which was also provided its own challenges, as you can imagine. Legislation is lagging and has been lagging always. It's a matter of fact that we were a little bit too early. When we started the company, basically there was very, very few European companies that were on the commercial market selling small unmanned systems. And as you know, the proper legislation from on the European level happened only last year. So, and we were all fighting for it for a very, very long time because we were very worried about this national legislation kind of rainbow that we had to deal with, especially with our customers. So Europe has been always kind of a problematic market for us because of this. And our systems are, yes, we have them in Europe, everywhere almost, but not a lot. And now hopefully this will be slowly changing also with the beyond visual line of sight capabilities and the new EASA rules and so on. So these are the systems that I talked about: Bramor, family, Atlas, and I don't have here also our UT drone, the robotic system. We are a vertically integrated company. We produce software, hardware, and integrate the airplanes. That's not really by design, it was by necessity. Since a lot of the products that we had to integrate in our systems were commercial components. Some of them did not have aviation level quality, let's call it, or redundancy and so on. So we have been really beefing up for the electronics side of the company. And we are going to expand in that direction, especially on the communication side. We have a new product coming on the market in the first quarter of 2022, which will be one of the first European-produced very novel technology mesh IP radios. Specifically aimed at the unmanned autonomous systems, autonomous vehicles market. And we, as not unlike our colleagues, we are of course also a software company. We created our own command and control software with simulator, integrated simulator, which is built on a very open platform, since we design a lot of custom systems. So, but focus has always been on ergonomics, and of course on the presentation of data and so on. And still to this day, this is still one of the better softwares for unmanned systems out there, for sure. And we're very proud of this product, and we always get a lot of attention for it from our competitors too. And mobile ad hoc network, we integrate a lot of radios. This is one of the radios, one of the networks that our systems use. We mostly collaborate here with American companies, two specific ones, TrellisWare and Silvus. But as I said, we also are working on our own networking system, specifically also for cost control and so on. A lot of our customers that you can see here on this slide are not able to finance military grade radios, right, which cost up from 10,000 euros per unit. So that's a huge cost on the radio, on the communication side. So we're trying to lower that for our customers. The missions that our systems are used for span from search and rescue, remote sensing, wildfire management, infrastructure control, woods and landscapes management, natural disasters, linear infrastructure monitoring, and security and defense. And this is really a list that comes from our users. It's not like a wish list, but definitely very, very wide swath of users. And of course, with it comes also the integration into unmanned traffic. And we have been also really, really early on working with partners from all around Europe on 3 different projects of the Single European Sky Air Traffic Management, CSAR consortia, which were Terra, Impetus, and Saphir. And so these were really large consortia, around 8 to 10 companies and institutes together. But here we really had the privilege of working with a lot of very big companies like Boeing and Jackson, Amazon, Unifly, Leonardo. So these are the actual partners of these projects, and it was and we are continuing, of course, in that direction, because we see UTM is, of course, a very important part of the whole integration of unmanned systems into the urban environments, and without proper UTM and management and air traffic management, that's not going to happen. But C-ASTRAL, we have big ambitions on one side through TerraDrone. On the other, we are expanding our presence also on the North American market. Has always been a very interesting market for us, and a lot of first adopters of our technology come from there. And so we are leveraging kind of this dual position that we have here. And of course, we have also Japan on the other side, because Southeast Asia, South America, and Africa have been really, really big markets for our company. And we are working on expanding that. So really, we are a one-stop solution provider for whole unmanned ecology. Both unmanned air traffic management and urban mobility solutions are part of what we are planning to do, are doing, our customers are doing around the world. And connected to this, we are also now, for the past half year, working on a new family of VTOL systems together with our sister company here, Pipistrel, on the smaller, for them, version with a maximum takeoff mass of 150 kilos VTOL system for cargo operations. Mostly that's kind of the first focus of it, but also, of course, ISR and so on. On the research side, we are very, very busy on a rather restricted, so I cannot talk much about it, project that is connected to the European Defense Agency. We are working on drone swarms research, robotic swarms research. As a matter of fact, we have just completed 2 weeks ago some autonomous swarming flights for the first time here in Slovenia. And we will be continuing in that vector. That project is going to last until the end of next year. And we are learning a lot, of course, because as on the side of AIRNAMICS, these drones have to be rather smart to be able to collaborate with each other. So there's a lot of very interesting vectors that we are working on in that direction. And really, delivery systems, VTOLs, are something that we're going towards. And of course, our goal is to have persistent 24/7 robotic sky operations with the drones doing the jobs that people don't like to do. That's it. That's everything from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Marko, for this really always inspiring presentation. So each time I see a progress, and welcome back from US. So thank you for joining us. So the next presentation will be from company ElevonX. And we have, so ElevonX is the high-tech product and solution provider for unmanned area systems with their integrated platform. And the presentation will be delivered by Janez Langus, who is the CEO of ElevonX. So Janez, please.
Daniel, thank you for the words. So I would also like to thank you for this opportunity to show and to discuss how ElevonX can contribute to unmanned aerial mobility. I would like to start with one holistic picture. So this is basically what UAM looks to the end user, and I hope that we will someday be able to show and to make a system that will work like this. So this is the holistic encapsulation of idea, how the unmanned aerial mobility would look in the future. So, but we as engineers are very interested in what is under the hood. So what is under this picture? And in our company, we have a lot of brainstorming sessions where we want to further increase the competency of our products and so forth. And urban air mobility is one of the topics that we discussed. And one of the first ideas that came up was that this is really a complex system. It will involve a lot of knowledge from multidisciplinary fields. And this means that a lot of different professionals will have to work in close collaboration to make the system work. But in the end, what will also be required are professional and reliable tools that will do some tasks that are on hand. And this is where I believe that our company comes in with our modular UAV design. When we started our company, we first did a market research, and we saw that there are a couple of different options on the market. So you have fixed wing, you have multicopters, you have vertical takeoff or catapult launch solutions, and most of them are targeted at doing some specific tasks. And we asked ourselves, is it possible to have one UAV design that could do more different tasks and very different missions? And we came up with a solution that requires a central fuselage where we can install different payloads. And then based on mission requirements, we choose the wing platform and deliver a complete UAV to our customer to do different tasks. So this modularity allows us to use our UAVs in very different areas, from agriculture to terrain mapping, search and rescue, and so forth. And lately, we have also touched the urban air mobility aspects with our solutions. We currently have 3 platforms developed. We started with Delta, then moved on to Sierra, and lately the market and all the users are looking for vertical takeoff solutions, so we upgraded our Sierra to have the VTOL capabilities. Just a short, brief description of our Delta. Okay. So this is the first UAV platform that our company started with. This was our, let's say, learning curve. We did a lot of flight testing, a lot of development, and also some serious work with it. And it is quite capable platform for doing agricultural mappings in precision agriculture, for terrain monitoring and disaster management and so on. And although we did certified to fly over urban areas, it is actually not quite suitable to do tasks over urban areas. For urban environment, the VTOL platforms are much more appropriate. So what VTOL means is this is vertical takeoff and landing, which means that we can land and take off vertically as a helicopter, and then at certain altitude, we then transition into forward flight. This means that this kind of platform has both capabilities of multicopters, which are very convenient for use, for taking off from small spaces. And then once you are in the air, you use so you have more fuel economy or electrical economy from forward flight. The platform also comes with all the bells and whistles from composite structure, certified materials, and so forth, which make it a great tool for operations in urban environment. This platform is already on the market. It comes in a transport case. It's very suitable for use for different users. But in the urban environment or in the urban aerial mobility environment, we currently see that it could perform several different tasks. From instance, it could be used for sample transport, for small cargo delivery. It could also be used for first responder in case of, let's say, a car accident or a fire. It could be sent to provide live video feed. It could be used for traffic surveillance and so forth. But also one important aspect of using the currently available UAVs for urban air mobility is that we think that this technology could be a great breakthrough for paving the road for personal air vehicles, which are coming in the next generations. So a bit about our company. We are quite a young company. We started developing our products in 2014-16. These were the first steps. And lately, we have founded our company in 2018. We are agile and multidisciplinary. Our main focus are research and development in the field of UAVs. We also manufacture our products. And through the years, we gathered a lot of capabilities in integrating different payloads, which means that we can accommodate our UAVs to different needs of our customers. But we know that we cannot do everything on our own. So we are forming strategic partnerships in Slovenia and abroad. As Marko Peljhan already told, we are a small market in Slovenia. So we are aiming to work together to have good relations with all the players in the market. And I think we are quite good at this moment in this aspect. But when we, as a company, look at the UAM market, we know that this market is, as we said, it is very complex, but we see that our UAVs could be used as a very good tools to doing the job. So we are aiming to be like pick and shovel suppliers for this market. Regarding this event that we were kindly invited to participate, we are always looking to expand our network of partners, of professionals that we work with, and we are also looking to accelerate our business. we are looking for different opportunities, and in the end, we are searching ways to speed up the use of UAVs in urban environment, because at the moment the use is quite limited to some specific tasks and limited tasks, but we see that technology is already capable of doing much more, and we are quite keen to speed up this process. So we are searching for partners to speed up this process. So thank you for your time, and if we will discuss, if you have any more questions, we will discuss it later in the session.
Yes, thank you, Janez, and also thank you, Alex, for the question in the chat. All the questions will be answered later on in the roundtable. So now I would like to introduce our next speaker. He is coming from the ONEDRONE Slovenian company, which is the largest Slovenian drone-related vendor, consultant, also education and training center to prepare candidates to obtain the license for unmanned aircrafts. So with us is Mr. Janez Nebec, the co-founder of ONEDRONE. So Janez, please, the floor is yours.
Hello, Daniel, and thank you for inviting us. Today, I will present to you the ONEDRONE company. As you already mentioned, we are a kind of one-stop shop in the Slovenian market, and we try to offer all the services which is possible to do legally with the drones. I think we should start the PowerPoint now. Okay. So as I mentioned, I will talk about the drones in the real world today. What can we do, and how can we do business with drones? So as I mentioned, ONEDRONE was formed in 2012. We operate since then exclusively from the incomes which we made on the market. So our customers want to gain profit from drones, not just investing. We try to offer everything that a customer needs from a drone, and in the following minutes I will present to you what we do. So we started as a web shop, and very quick we evolved to a real retail shop with showroom and all the drones which are in stock, which you can touch, test, talk about them. These are mostly the most popular DJI drones, but also we are very strong on the market with the FPV drones, do-it-yourself components. So we have a lot of customers who are buying components to build their own drones, professional drones and hobby drones, and we are also a supplier to many big professional drones for different services. And because we want to know very well about the things that we are dealing, we are a kind of forced to learn how to work with drones, how to provide services, and how to teach our customers. You know that drone legislation is quite complicated around the world. And in the past era, when the first generation of drone legislation was in the world, each country had its own rules. And it was quite impossible to be a European or a global provider because each country had a set of special rules. So we focused in 2016 to be the first company in Slovenia to get the highest class of certification. This was the former Class D certification, and this allowed us to fly drones legally also in the cities. With this license, we get a big experience with more than 400 documented and legal operations in the city from all fields of work, mostly aerial photography, videography, but also land surveying, photogrammetry, LiDAR, air surveying, and so on. And of course, we do some business with our Ministry of Defense, with military, with European Defense Agency, some cross-border operations with DSEF for border control, and so on. So we also have experience in that field. And because we need tools to do the job, we have a fleet of more than 15 drones and counting, many certified drone pilots, operators, able to do any legal job which is possible today. And as you know, since the 1st of January this year, we have a common European legislation which will allow us to offer our services around the Europe. And as we speak, we are in final stage of getting certified operator of specific category, which will allow us also to do some beyond visual line of sight. And as we speak, I believe in 1, 2, 3 weeks, we will hold one of the first licenses in Europe for specific operation. And this also means a lot to our partners, because we will enable to our partners in Slovenia to get the licensing quick and to be more competitive in the European market. So, as I was talking before, the legislation is quite complicated, and the process of getting all the licenses is quite difficult and expensive. So the only point for our company is that with our experience that we have, we can help other companies to become certified operators. So with our customers, where we have at the moment the majority of big Slovenian companies like ELES company, which is operator of power grid, the Slovenian Railway, the Triglav Insurance Company, the Port of Koper, Energetika Ljubljana, the energetics company of Ljubljana, Post of Slovenia, and many, many other companies who are using our solutions today. They are using drones to make businesses which are legally possible and which are meaning them saving of money. So this means that they can do their work faster, more efficient, and more safe. So for them, first we offer, of course, the pre-sales consulting, because many companies today think that drones are nice. So we have to do something with drones. But first, when they come to us, we tell them, okay, tell me, what do you want to do? So first we see if this is legal and if the drones are available. So we offer the right set of drones to our customers. Then for sure we have to train the staff, because today man is still important link in the chain of command for the drones. The autonomous operations are not allowed, and we need specialized operators. So with our experience, it's very easy for us to train the operators at our customers. Of course, the messy part which nobody wants to do is the paperwork. We can do all the paperwork, all the legal stuff which is possible to do. And of course, after the company is running, the next thing is the fleet management. As far as the training goes, we operate in our own training center in Ljubljana, with a classroom for ground school where we can teach about 15 students. And also we have our own field where we can train line of sight operations. So basically everything is in the house within 5 minutes from one location to another. We are based in Ljubljana, so accessibility is very good. Highway less than 1 kilometer from our facilities. And here we do all the theoretical training for all classes. So for open and the specific category to the new European legislation, we do type-specific training, we do mission-specific training, and also we do training for government activities, so search and rescue, military, and police. We have a very close relations with Slovenian police and Slovenian army, which enables us to grow together with them. And at the end of the day, when the operator has the drones and when the staff is trained, we keep things going. So the ONEDRONE fleet management is a solution when we do complete work for the operator, and you can consider it as a bookkeeping for drones. So even that we have good drones and we have trained personnel, we still have to do a lot of paperwork. We still have to do record keeping. We still have to do the auditing. So watching the company if they're doing right and prevent the accident before it happens. So with our services, you just fly and we do the rest. And the good thing is that now with the new European legislation, we can offer our services all around Europe. So here we are, and you are all welcome to take advantage of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Janez, for your presentation. It's important to understand that hardware and software could coexist also by building the entire framework. But what is also important is that we need to train pilots. So the next presentation will be from the company Nervtech, which is high-tech R&D company specializing in vehicle simulation technology. So Matej Vengust, the CEO of Nervtech, will deliver his presentation. So Matej, you can start.
Okay, thank you very much for your attention. My name is Matej, as Daniel already explained. I'm CEO of Nervtech. Similar to what Mr. Thaler said, we are also focusing on simulators and simulation, but here we are not focusing on the electronics part or the AI, but actually on the human factor and the pilots. Because we all know that in the future of urban air mobility, we're gonna have it's not can you see it shift?
No, you need to click on a presentation and then move. Otherwise, we can do it instead of you.
Yeah, sorry for that. Of course, for the future of urban air mobility, we all hope it will happen soon. But what we also have to know is that regulatory and, of course, legislation restrictions won't allow, let's say, AI VTOLs for quite a long time. We'll need pilots for that. So if we are, let's say, calculating scale of city of Los Angeles, and if there will be, let's say, until 2025, 500 VTOLs, we'll probably gonna need at least 4 per aircraft, and this is 2,000 pilots. And with current status of training of pilots on big simulators, on heavy regulatory demands, of course, this is quite impossible actually to fill this VTOLs with pilots. So this is why we developed pilot recruitment, evaluation, and training system, which is based on our own proprietary motion platform. Why is it so small? There's a purpose for that, of course. We know that simulation and simulators have been part of aerospace industries for at least 120 years, even before screens existed, actually. But the problem comes with the cost of those simulators. The professional simulators that are used by, let's say, companies Airbus and Boeing, they cost multiple tens of millions of dollars. And of course, it's impossible to fit all those pilots that I mentioned into those simulators to train them. And of course, since the simulator training is obligatory by law, it's quite impossible actually to fit those VTOLs with those pilots. So of course, what we were thinking is making a smaller simulator which can be fitted in a classroom, multiple simulators, maybe even 20 of them, like hubs, with one trainer. And of course, with this, we can speed up the process of training, and of course, also decrease the value of the cost of training the pilot. So what we are doing, so we put pilot into stressed and critical real-life situations. Let's say we do twins of environments and put them in different conditions, also different, let's say, windy conditions, different environment conditions, also ground effect conditions and stuff like this. We are using biometric sensors like eye tracking, EEG stuff and stuff like that. And of course, we can do any type of customizable terrain, weather and flying conditions. And since this data is not only important for pilot training, we also use it for using it to do autonomous training of aircrafts, like also Mr. Thaler explained. So what we can achieve here is do twins of pilots, put them in VTOLs. This is stuff like US Air Force is also working on, and we can achieve better behavior of autonomous systems in the future. As I already mentioned, we are using state-of-the-art sensors. So these are all medical grade, so they can be used for pilot training also on medical grade. And maybe just to explain a bit about our team, we are all experts in our own fields. Also, Jure Leskovec, who you probably know, he is a data science at Pinterest and professor at Stanford. And I guess these are our partners. And I don't know if you have any more questions. I guess this is it.
Thank you, Matej. So now I invite all the panelists, basically all the speakers, to switch on the cameras and join us in the round table. So what you could see is that we are looking for solutions for, the mega cities. And in the mega cities, we will need to manage resources in better, more sustainable and a wiser way. We believe that mobility will play an important role. We believe that it's not easy or in short time achievable to do a land acquisition and build the whole infrastructure going from road, rail, hyperloop and other infrastructures, and it's also costly. And we believe that the solution is to use the third dimensional space. Now, today we are focusing on non-passenger operations. Yes, in Slovenia we have the Pipistrel company, and next week we will have another similar webinar focusing on passenger-related solutions coming from air, ground, and sea. And you will see the whole portfolio of our passenger vehicles. But this is more now applications that I personally believe can be in cities available immediately, with some, of course, limitations. So, but before we go into more deeply into solutions for megacity, I have first question for Mr. Marko Thaler, and it's about, Slovenia. We are a 2 million country. And it's quite interesting to see so many quite mature and advanced startups in this space, in this field of urban air mobility. So according to you, what is the reason behind it?
I think it's a convergence of two things primarily. One is that our education system, especially on the engineering front, is very good. If you are an undergraduate or graduate student in engineering from Slovenia, and you want to compare yourself with any of your mates from any of the top engineering universities worldwide, I think you have nothing to worry about. So the engineering knowledge is really high. The second one, what we've also seen today is that passion and history for aviation in Slovenia is also very strong. You know, everything from Edvard Rusjan onwards. We are really passionate about aviation, and we are always pushing the limits. And also, for example, in sports aviation, I stopped counting how many world records we have, or on the production side, you know, with Elan Flight like 40, 50 years ago, that were producing high performance composite gliders. And then all the spin-off companies that were actually generated from that company. And now, for example, what Pipistrel is doing in the light sport aircraft, general aviation, and especially electric propulsion, we have definitely huge engineering expertise on the education side, and also the passion for aviation. And I believe when you converge the two, you get a very good playground, so that a lot of startups can spring out of that. Of course, building startups is one thing, but then creating scalable, globally recognized businesses out of it, that's a completely different ballgame.
Yes, thank you for that. And as we mentioned earlier, we are very proud on our university. We know that aerospace industry is very competitive market, and more than 100 universities compete on US basically championship, you know, for radio control aircraft. And, you know, Slovenia being first and being ahead of Stanford, MIT, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, you know, universities coming from Singapore, Hong Kong, China, even Israel, other countries from Europe, it's quite impressive. So we are having talent, so that's why also our ecosystem is quite rich, and it's vertically integrated, if I see your roles in this space. Now, you mentioned, Marko, scale-ups, and I'll go to the next Marko Peljhan. So Marko, you have, with C-ASTRAL, you have international experience. How, you know, what are the reasons, or how you are able to scale up, and what kind of, inside internalization, what kind of opportunities you see for our ecosystem globally?
Thank you for this question. Well, you know, Slovenia being described as we are describing it now, yes, it's an environment where you have a lot of talent, but it's also an environment where you have a complete dearth of capital, right? So, you know, all of the companies that are presenting today, except maybe Marko is part now, the other Marko, a bigger group, right, which does a lot of things. It's an industrial conglomerate, have grown organically, or are growing completely organically, yeah? Which means, you know, it's kind of it's an achievement, but it's also a very, it's a competitive disadvantage, of course, absolutely. You know, with all the liquidity that we see in the markets today, it's puzzling how few foreign direct investments we have in Slovenia, because of our problematic environment at the moment, that I know also you, Daniel, and everybody is trying to work in changing it and reforming it and so on, right? And so that's, you know, we've seen our competitors that started later than us with, let's say, you know, comparable technology or not so good technology, get incredible investments, you know, our competitors in Switzerland, in Germany, and so on, different ecosystems, industrially speaking, whereas in Slovenia, that's a different story. And the scale up, yeah, you know, it's capital related, you know, talent is here. We all understand that. I think it's clear from today's presentation that we can compete globally, but organic competition, organic growth, you know, building startups literally from sales is, of course, not a scale-up strategy. It's not going to happen. You know, we're not magicians. So that's I see still and always, and even if you talk to all of our colleagues in Slovenian business, in the Slovenian business environment, that's a big problem. The other one is, yes, we are proud of our aviation history, but we also, squandered our national airline and all its ecosystem for, literally was sold to some crook speculators, which destroyed, 60 years of value, yeah, in 2 years, and that makes you really mad if you are passionate about aviation. But hey, we're gonna fight the good fight here, and hopefully, we'll still be not only talking, but yeah, growing in the next, in the next let's call it 5 years, yeah.
Yes, like in every environment, there are challenges and opportunities. And what I learned in our previous conversation is that we are also open, to partner in different stages. So therefore, so my next question goes to Janez Langus. And you were talking about, so for you, I have 2 questions, one also from audience. But my question would go, you were talking that there is more demand for the VTOL capabilities on the aircraft. So my question goes, how do you see the commercialization of the VTOL operations in the future? And also the second question would be, do you use any charging or battery swap technologies, stations?
Okay, Daniel, thank you for your questions. Regarding the commercialization, we all know that this is a difficult task that we have on hand, but from technological point of view, I would say that the sky is the limit, or as our legislation would say, 120 meters is the limit for us at the moment. But these things will evolve, and I believe that the market is huge. The demands are huge, and the technology is here. There are several technical tasks that we still have to complete, but and also the legislation tasks. But I think that it will evolve. And but to be realistic, I would be quite happy if in my lifetime I will be able to do autonomous flight in a city center. To be quite honest, but sometimes things happen quite rapidly. When we look back, for instance, we look at our mobile phones. You wouldn't imagine in 20 or 30 years ago that you will be able to have this kind of power in your pocket, and so the technology can surprise us much more than we can expect. Regarding the charging stations, as I said, we are a company that is focusing more on UAVs such as platforms, and we are doing strategic partnerships with companies that are more into developing charging stations and also autonomous landing stations. So we have a partner in Austria, which is developing an autonomous landing station that will use our UAVs. So we are more than happy to receive any information regarding this technology, and we can also then translate this to our partners which are more focused on this technology. And regarding also the technology of the batteries, I see this currently as one of the bottlenecks of the development, because the weight of battery is limiting our capabilities, much like the weight of the batteries is actually limiting the use of more advanced smartphones in a sense. So we are all probably hoping for a big development in the area of battery technology.
Yes, the batteries are a topic. Also, Slovenian ecosystem is exploring the hydrogen. So we already have first research work related to hydrogen. There are also other opportunities. But going back to regulation, I have a question for basically Janez Nebec. So what are some challenges, related to regulation that we would need to overcome, so to make urban air mobility a reality soon?
Yeah, the regulation and certification is one of the biggest challenges, because today, if I want to take a simple video of a house in the city with a toy like this, I must have a paperwork like I am airline trafficker. So it is really quite demanding and still in the process. However, the new European legislation has made possible all the things that we want to do. But for the beginning, let me show you an illustration about what I will speak. So when we speak about air mobility, we are speaking about something like this. Autonomous vehicles which will transport people in the cities. It is not such a big problem to build them, but the first problem is the propulsion. The vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, multi-rotors, they are very inefficient, so it's almost magic to get more than 30 minutes of flight time, and nobody will pay for that. However, it is even more difficult to certify them, because today anyone can build something like this and it can fly, but to certify it, it is quite difficult. So unfortunately, the only personal transport which is legal to fly today in the city would be this, the flying car. If we step down a little, I believe that the first thing that we will see will be package delivery. This is the thing which is already possible today. Still a little difficult, because if we look at the legislation, we can do already today flying beyond visual line of sight in a segregated airspace over unpopulated areas. But if we have populated area, or if we have open airspace, we have to solve these two problems. A solution for populated area would be certified drones. But to certify drones, we first need the standards. So the European community and also other parts of the world will have to produce standards so we can certify the drones. Regarding the flying in open airspace, there is a solution. It is called U-Space. So the dedicated airspace for unmanned aerial vehicles, and this is the thing which is already around the corner. And with all the companies which we have in Slovenia, also our partners which are present here today, I think we are able to create the U-Space in Slovenia and to show to the other parts of the world that it really works. So maybe this would be a challenge for all of us to come together and try to do something.
Yes, and I need also to mention what you mentioned lastly about, this U-Space. Also, the city of Ljubljana is a member of UAM Initiative Cities Community that is led by Vasilis Aguridas, and where cities are, discussing and collaborating to create safe airspace above the cities. But, going from regulation to public acceptance, which is another key thing to master. So Matej, Vengust, the question for you. So you're talking more about, pilot training, demand for pilots, and so on. But we need also acceptance or embracement from communities. So how simulation technology can be used to win or explain or show the public acceptance? And I will just mention, we are using in our city lab, we are using the technology acceptance model that is based on previous experience and understanding the easy of use of technologies, how people respond. And of course, when we did a survey related to drones, everything was related with experience from movies. So people were quite skeptical in Europe. But Matej, going back to you, how technology can help us win the public or community or social acceptance, embracement of this new technology?
Yeah, thank you for your question. Yeah, definitely. Simulators are one of the tools that can be used to measure, let's say, user experience. And of course, with our design that we have a dome design for the simulator. We can also measure actually the noise experience, exposure. But what's most important is to see with biometric sensors how people actually feel in an aircraft. So using maybe even VR goggles, we can actually measure how they feel, and of course, based on that, make the user experience much better. For example, right now we are using HP latest model of goggles that have all the biometric sensors actually installed in the headset, eye trackers, motion sensors, even emotion sensors. So with that technology, we can definitely help cities get the feel how the aircraft or these zones that need to be done, the corridors, how they would affect people, and actually see how they need to project, and of course to build them.
Yes.
Of course, launch pads and everything all together.
Yeah. So many things to discuss and to research, and we need to also to do the master plan, the real estate plans, and so on. So yes, there is a lot of things. So now I have basically the last question for you all. So since we are living in connected world where we are all hyper connected and so on. So, and you already have also international experience, and we have many, participants from all over the world. So we are on all continents, basically from all continents. So my question would go in quick, maybe just answer from you all. So what you're looking for, what you're open to discuss further with somebody in the audience that would be interesting to collaborate with you. And I will just start with Matej Vengust, who was last, and then we will go in same direction.
Yeah, since maybe I didn't mention this, but we already have a UAM challenge. It's if you can check it on arch.aero, and we are talking to cities to actually install our simulators to see the user experience, and we would definitely like to broaden that network. And not only that, but as I said, if you need 2,000 pilots in just one city, which is probably not enough for a city like Los Angeles. I'm doing this comparison because Uber elevated this projection. Of course, you need a lot of simulators, so we're definitely open to collaboration. I don't think it's actually relevant to my colleagues here, but definitely to all the participants. If I don't know, in any way you see a use of our technology as a viable solution to make this public acceptance better, then definitely we are open to collaboration.
Okay, thank you. And same question goes to Janez from ONEDRONE.
Yes, ONEDRONE is one of the few companies in Europe who is able to do legally everything what is possible to be legally done. And with our existing partners in Slovenia, I'm meaning most of the big companies, we have many business cases for using of drones, like insurance, public safety, security, power line inspection, land surveying. So we can offer our services and our experience to any company in Europe who would like to use drones legally. So everyone is really welcome.
Mm-hmm. So what is, how ElevonX see, the potential collaboration and future needs?
Well, on first notice, we are meshing with and collaborating with a lot of partners from this panel as we speak. but we are also open to forming new partnerships. And as a company, of course, we are striving towards growth. So organic growth, as we know, is quite difficult. So we are also interested in accelerating our growth in any way. So if there are partners out there who think that could work with us, or we would be interesting for them, we are open for contacts.
Great, great. So Marko, Peljhan, I think Arctica and Antarctica will not be so interesting. It's freezing there, but what are some other areas for collaboration with C-ASTRAL that you see?
Oh, why not? Why not? You know, actually, both in the Arctic and Antarctica, you can actually do BVLOS flights. And one of our partners in the Arctic, in the Canadian Arctic, that uses our system is actually one of the most experienced BVLOS operators in the world because of that, right? So, yeah, but in terms of the future, you know, as everybody said, I think that the Slovenian ecology is definitely ready for some big things in the next few years. If I may make a prediction, I think you will see our indigenous UAM probably taking off exactly in this partnership, one way or the other, because of the experiences we have and the collaborations that we have established. But of course, yeah, I think everybody here is absolutely open for some boost ups in terms of you know, collaborative cooperation, and also on the capital side, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. And Marko, Thaler, from your end, what are the last thoughts or ideas for collaboration and future partnerships?
Well, I think we've shown today that together as a community, we have huge engineering expertise on the design of the system, and also the complete network and all the infrastructure that goes around it. So I think that this is a great substrate or a great basis, you know, to spin off this technology into a number of different startups or big businesses down the line. So we are definitely, I think, the smart investors and partners will be able to recognize the assets that we have in Slovenia, and of course then openly start discussing about all the collaboration options. You know, this is basically in KOLEKTOR, this is the basic way of how we're doing it. We have a huge technological base, then we spin off different startups, whether that be in the Industry 4.0 space or in other mobility sectors, for example, and similar. So I think having an open mind to tap into this knowledge, know-how and technology, and then see the whole thing in terms of how you can package that to a breakthrough product or service in the market, and then make it happen.
Thank you. So with that, I would conclude our roundtable. Was very insightful and inspiring, you know, to see all the insights. And now I would like to invite Mr. Peljhan from the Spirit Slovenia to deliver some final thoughts and words for the end of this amazing event.
Yes, thank you, Daniel. It's been great to hear about all these solutions coming from Slovenia. We have even much more to deliver and to show to the world. As mentioned at the beginning, we'll be present there at Expo Dubai, starting in the second part of this year, going all the way also in the start of the next year. And especially on the topics of aerospace, urban and rural development, and smart cities, and also mobility. You will find even more companies from field of mobility and similar companies like were presented here. I would also like to invite everyone to contact us, whether you have any information and you would like searching for any information, searching for contacts, partnerships, whatever. We at Spirit Slovenia, Slovenian Business Development Agency, are here for everyone. So we are, let's say, one-stop shop for whoever would like to do business with Slovenia. So do not hesitate, contact us. We'll share our contacts in this post event mailing, and also you can also contact me directly through LinkedIn or directly on my email. I would also like to invite you on our next events. Best solution is high-end mobility. It's happening already next week, so everybody invited. Also, some great solutions coming there, and also on the events which will follow to that. So thank you once more, Daniel.
Thank you, Vit, for your kind words. Thank you for invitation to all what will happening in next week and further on. This event has been recorded, so recording will be available for all, so you can review it. And I encourage you to reach out to our speakers and to Spirit Slovenia organization, and let's connect, let's collaborate, and let's co-develop the future of mobility. And let's improve our lives on better and make everything more sustainable, because we also need to help our planet. So with that, I would like to conclude our event. The timing is perfect, so we are in time, we are in line with our timing, and I wish you all a great day and talk to you all soon, and looking forward to next interaction. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.